30 years in the NFL, passers extraordinaire, future Hall of Famers Elway, Denver, and in his first year back in his old college town at age 40, Warren Moon. Their skills complemented today by superb runners, the Broncos, Terrell Davis, and Seattle's Chris Warren, 4 times a 1,000-yard rusher. Week 2 at the Kingdome in Seattle, the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. And hello, everyone, and welcome aboard with Phil Simms and Paul McGuire. This town devastated a week ago. High hopes for the year. They were thrashed by the New York Jets. It's been a tough week for everyone.
Well, a lot of emotions have been running rampant here in Seattle. And you talk about emotions, when you have 2 teams that are somewhat equal in talent, whoever has the emotional edge usually can win that game. So it's so big in the NFL. What it does, it helps teams in preparation. It makes the players and coaches pay attention to those little things in meetings. They pay attention a little more on the practice field. So what I'm trying to tell you is, with all this emotional edge, playing at home, Seattle has it all going for them. If they don't play well and have a chance to win today, it's going to be a long year for them.
You bet. And Mike Shanahan has a win in the bank, and yet he wasn't totally pleased last week.
I know, you talk to the coach, you think, well, you got to win. So what? Big deal. But I'll tell you what he's mad about. He's mad about penalties. You see those 8 penalties for 69 yards? Most of those occurred in touchdown drives. What they had to do was settle for 4 field goals. That he didn't like. He felt they should have had 4 touchdowns.
Well, and the Seahawks don't like the fact they've lost their starting quarterback, John Freeze, to an injury a week ago.
Well, mental breakdowns killed Seattle last week on defense and on offense. That's why John Freeze got hurt. A blitz, they do not pick up the blitz. He breaks his thumb. Warren Moon is in today. He comes in a tough situation. They need his leadership and good play from him.
And for Denver, of course, at quarterback, John Elway, and he's already at work.
All 45 of us right here controlling our own destiny. We're better than they are. Let's go out and play like it. Play with a lot of confidence, have some fun, and not take any prisoners. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3. Broncos! Yeah!
Sidelines. I'm here with Cortez Kennedy. Cortez, last team, the team was thoroughly embarrassed. Is the team angry, and has any panic set in, Cortez?
It's a great embarrassment last week. It's a gut check now, see what kind of heart we got. We're ready to play. Now it's time to go.
He guaranteed a victory, and he also guaranteed that this will not happen again. Dick?
All right, thank you, Jim Gray. Dennis Erickson, a very quiet, angry. He said it was as if somebody kicked him as hard as he's ever been kicked. He just couldn't figure how his team could play so poorly, so confused, in thrashing 41-3 to start this season. Mike Shanahan, cool and calm. Best team in the AFC a year ago by record, 13-3. And he's off to a winning start with a victory at home against Kansas City. Todd Peterson to kick it off. At the other end is Vaughn Hepburn of Denver. Denver for the first time in their white uniforms. Hepburn at the 3. Finds a seam, 40, 50, and out of bounds at midfield. They'll mark it at the Denver 49-yard line. Hepburn pumped out by the kicker Peterson, a 46-yard return.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you look at kickoff returns, you want to see almost a perfect one. Watch the blocking. Watch the hole that he sees. Vaughn Hepburn comes up the field. Phil, they just took people on, put them on the ground.
Well, we talked about all that emotion. Way to take it right out of the crowd and the players by allowing such a great return by the Broncos. And the quarterback they love starting at midfield.
Elway with Howard Griffith and Terrell Davis behind him. McCaffrey to the left. Shannon Sharp left, and Davis vacates the backfield, and Elway looking that way. Steps up, scrambles and dives for 2 to the Seattle 49. Dean Wells there to cover. Here are the Broncos. Front 5 in front of Elway. Line up with Jones, Schlereth, Nalen, Habib, and Brown. Elway with Davis and Griffith in the backfield. Rod Smith had a career game, 5 catches, well over 100 yards a week ago. McCaffrey and Shannon Sharp, 3 catches from 400 in his career. Double tight end, 2nd down 8. Davis, his first carry, breaks 1 tackle, gains only a yard. He was slowed up by Chad Brown, number 94, and Philip Daniels finished the job. Here are the Hawks defensively. Sinclair, Adams, Kennedy, and Daniels could be one of the better front fours in the league. Didn't show it a week ago. We'll see a lot of Cortez Kennedy, 6 straight Pro Bowls. Moss, Wells, Chad Brown from Pittsburgh. Sean Springs, so much hope for him. He's the All-America from Ohio State. Willie Williams from Pittsburgh. Blades from the Lions, and Darrell Williams, the back 4. Elway looks at 3rd down 7. Plenty of noise in the Kingdom, and that may have created a penalty. It looked as if right tackle Jamie Brown pulled off his stance, and Elway is punished by Moss as they could not hear the whistle, if there was one.
Well, John, don't take for granted that they hear that whistle. It's so loud already in here. Protect yourself in those situations.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. Number 70, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Phil Luckett is the referee today.
You know, talking about this Denver offense, what they want to do, the Jets had so much success last week given all these formations. Seattle did not adjust well. They want to give them all the looks, Paul, and see if they made those corrections.
Well, on the other side, Seattle on defense, what they need to do is just get rid of the mistakes. Number 2, get Chad Brown in a position he can make plays. And the big 3, Sally Amua, Kennedy, and Sam Adams. These guys have to perform.
Those 3 defensive tackles. 3rd down and 12. Elway from the shotgun. Brown on the blitz. Elway to McCaffrey, and a 1st down at the 36-yard line. The tackle by number 22, Fred Thomas.
One thing that I think is really overrated in this league, they always talk about matchups and size with wide receivers and defensive backs. Well, this is one time where it really came in handy. Eddie McCaffrey makes that catch because he's 6'5" and a lot taller than the defensive back.
And also what he did is he got into the face of Fred Thomas, number 22, and just came back to the ball. It was there. Look at the big body. He just blocks him out.
He's 8 inches taller than the 5'9" Thomas. 16-yard play. 1st down, Elway. Guns it to Shannon. Check that, Rod Smith, and Smith is close to another 1st down at the Seattle 26-yard line.
Well, what we've already seen, this Denver offense giving a lot of different looks, and they'd love to get their wide receivers on the inside part of the field where Rod Smith is, so they have some area to work in where they can go in or out, and Rod Smith finds that little hole for Elway to throw it into.
Well, we've heard the noise already, Phil Simms, and John Elway was talking about this week. Is typically coaches anticipating a loud dome situation. They play music or crowd screaming. And how did you have to do that?
Yeah, and it's usually bad music too, Dick. But yeah, we had to, and I knew John's answer what it was going to be if you did it. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't you hate it?" He goes, "Oh, I hate it," because all it does to the quarterback, it gives you a sore throat from trying to yell over the noise, and it gives you a headache from all that stuff too.
The one thing too, when you talk about this noise in this stadium, and it is extremely loud for players to play, they'll tell you that a week in and week out. But if Elway and the Denver Broncos score on this first drive, it'll take this crowd out of the game. If you take the crowd out of the game, you don't have the edge anymore.
Well, let's be honest. This crowd, they want to turn on the team. They are sitting on the edge of the seats. As soon as it goes bad, they're going to jump on him.
The catch by Smith was good enough for the 1st down. 26-yard line, Elway. The quick pop to McCaffrey. And McCaffrey out of bounds after a gain to the 19-yard line. Darrell Williams bumped him out. Denver for the first time in the red zone, and last week against Kansas City, they penetrated the Chiefs 24 times but managed only 1 touchdown, and that in its own way was controversial as Terrell Davis scored on what appeared to be a hole that was erased by the officials.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing we talked about at the beginning is about Mike Shanahan being mad with the offense about offensive mistakes.
2nd and 3. Griffith in motion, Terrell Davis, and they gang tackle him. Sam Adams led the charge. No gain.
And the reason they weren't successful last week inside the 20, right there you saw it. running the football. They were so great at running the football last year inside the 20, and that's how they get it in there and they get the defense guessing is it going to be run or pass. No success last week and a hard time so far this week.
Well, and one of the reasons that Elway is throwing the ball as much as he is in this first drive, Phil, is they've got about 8 or 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage. They are telling you, you must throw the ball if you're going to beat us.
McCaffrey right, Smith to the left, Shannon Sharp, the tight end, on the right side. 3rd down and 3. Elway, McCaffrey. And the Broncos will have to settle for another field goal, although once again they did make it into the red zone.
Well, Paul, you brought up an interesting point, and it really is kind of, I find it fascinating. You talk about the Denver Broncos, you talk to the other team, and every one of them to a man said, we cannot let them run the football. We're going to make them, they got to beat us by John Elway throwing the football.
Yeah, that's something in the passes. So, we know they're not going to run the ball. Elway,
yeah, let's go let Elway beat us.
38-yard attempt by Jason Elam. Made all 4 attempts last week, and he's good on his first effort today. Broncos opening drive ends with a 38-yard field goal. Seattle will get it when we come back.
Facility that goes the distance, built for living. By Cigna, a business of caring. And by Pizza Hut, we've got a pizza waiting for you.
Landmark from the 1962 World's Fair, the Space Needle over 2 football fields high over the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. The Broncos with a 3-0 lead on Jason Elam's 38-yard field goal. Now Elam kicks it off. Steve Broussard at the goal line for Seattle. Broussard up to the 8-yard line. 20, flags flying, and Broussard down at the 24. Tackled by Dwayne Carswell. And as suspected, a 10-yarder against the Seahawks. Gives us a chance to introduce Warren Moon and company on this second NFL Sunday. Here is the offense for the blue and green. Walter Jones, the rookie tackle from Florida State. Kendall, Mawai, Graham, and Ballard. Quarterback Warren Moon, his first start in this city in an important game since way back in his college days in the 70s. Chris Warren, one of the better running backs in the league. Max Strong is the blocker. Joey Galloway, they say he is the fastest man in the NFL. There he is, Galloway, and he ran a 4.15 several times in camp, and some would argue there's no one faster in this league. Number 84, keep your eyes on him. Mike Pritchard is the other wide receiver, and the tight end is Christian Fourier. Gives to Warren, and Warren to the 15-yard line where Keith Tractor Trailer makes the tackle, the former Kansas City Chief. And here are the Broncos defensively. Smith and Trailer, the former Kansas City Chiefs, with Michael Dean Perry and Alfred Williams, a couple of Pro Bowlers. Mobley, Aldridge, and Romanowski are the backers. Crockett and Gordon. Gordon, the former Charger, at the corners, and Steve Atwater and Tyrone Braxton, 2 very talented safeties. Moon to Warren, and right into a crowd, a gain of just a couple, and it'll be 3rd down and about 8. Romanowski was there.
Dick, the game plan for Seattle is obvious. The first 2 plays they try to run, they need to run the football. Don't make any mistakes. Be aggressive. And the other thing is, last week they never threw the ball down the field. Warren Moon told us we've got to get the ball down the field.
Well, you're right, Paul. I think they have to. But on Denver and the Denver side of the ball on defense, they want to be aggressive, blitz this team, because last week Seattle did a terrible job of picking up the blitzes. So Denver's got to check out that scheme and see if it works. And don't give up the big play to that fastest man in the league, Joey Galloway.
Moon up with a shotgun, 3rd and long. Steps up and guns it. Mike Pritchard appears to have a first down out at the 23. Romanowski was trailing the receiver. It's going to be very close. Let's see.
He's going to be short. Pritchard goes down. He's hit, and he's tried to move the ball forward, but the official was right there to mark it, and I don't believe that they got the first down. Pritchard is still down on the ground telling the official where to mark it.
Well, what Seattle does in offense, look at that. They change the receivers. One goes inside. Michael Pritchett comes underneath. Nobody really is covering him. Just loses his balance and falls short of the first down. But a good job by the offense. Get some movement, try to confuse Denver's defense, and get some people open.
And they'll stretch it out, and it is indeed short. Well, early in the game, the Chargers and New Orleans on NBC today, Mike Ditka went for it on 4th and short from deep in his own end, about the same position.
What happened?
Barely made it.
Oh, he made it, though.
And the special teams, Darian Gordon along with Vaughn Hebron, as you can see, had a great week against Kansas City, and Hebron already with that 46-yard return of the opening kickoff. Gordon standing back at his 30. Rick Tootin, Pro Bowl kicker 3 years ago, and averaged over 44.5 yards a punt last season.
Yeah, we got later on in the show, hopefully we'll get a chance to show you
what punters are really built like.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what all the punters, even back in my day.
Yeah, well, he has your picture up there with your bare torso in his locker. Tootin hits a beauty, a spiral that Gordon calls for a fair catch at the 28-yard line. 8 minutes, 34 seconds remain in the opening quarter. 3-0 Denver.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Welcome back. There are a lot of great statistics, those to be truly proud of, and for John Elway, this is what really counts. Of all the men who have quarterbacked in the National Football League, no one's won more games as a starter than John Elway. Marino squeaked out a 16-13 Miami over Tennessee win earlier. That's twice, only 16 points for Jimmy Johnson's Dolphins, but both were wins. Hand off to Terrell Davis, and he's able to pick up about 3, maybe 4. Chad Brown makes the tackle. And, well, you could relate to that better than any of us, Phil.
Well, it says everything about John Elway and how the team's been built around him. And, you know, it's like my old coach used to tell me, you know what they want to know on Monday? They don't want to hear about all the pain, this, that, this. Is it, did you win or did you lose? So John on Mondays gets to go, well, we won. He's done it more than anybody else, and I think it's the greatest stat of all.
He says it a lot on Monday, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Second down, a long 5, and of course Elway has contributed with his legs as well as his arm. Fires this one incomplete. Ed McCaffrey, and interference on Springs. Sean Springs reaching in, got too much of McCaffrey.
You know, the one thing that Sean Springs told us yesterday, Phil, that was very interesting. Now, here he's a rookie, and he talked about McCaffrey, who is really not one of the fastest guys in the league, and even Eddie admits that. But he says one thing about a big guy like this that is a little slower.
Pass interference on the defense, number 24. That's an automatic first down.
He also said, you know, I can backpedal faster than he can run forward. But the thing about it is he's got to get in his face.
Yeah, he does. Don't play him from off. He says, well, too much contact down the field. And what he says when you play guys like Eddie McCaffrey off the ball, he says, while he's running down to those 10 yards, he gives you about 15 moves.
So some of the fans looking at that, as you see the size differential, booing because they thought that was only an illegal chuck, but the ball was already in the air when he made that hit on McCaffrey. So interference is the call. Elway somehow gets away, and one hops it to Shannon Sharp. And Elway was hit hard as he released the ball.
I think it was pass interference and illegal chuck, and something that goes on a lot in this league, and maybe we'll talk about today sometime, but too much contact by the defensive backs down the field against wide receivers.
You said after looking at the film of Seattle last week when you first saw it that on their defense that they had more illegal chucks and hitting people downfield than any time you've ever seen.
Except them and the Dallas Cowboys lead the league in illegal chucks down the field. Because you know what it is? The coaches have to tell them, go ahead and do it. They only call it like once or twice a game. So do it every play.
2nd and 10, draw to Terrell Davis. Calls out his blocking and picks up nearly 8. Winston Moss, who started his career at Tampa Bay and, of course, played with the Raiders, and now here in Seattle made the stop.
Well, this is just a draw play, and Elway goes back. But watch what Terrell does. Once he sees the hole, he gets back to the outside. Now he's trying to say something. All right, you block him. I'll tell you where to block.
Yeah.
Willie Flipper Anderson, number 83. I'll tell you, you go block him. And Anderson said, yeah, but that's a tackle.
There's Terrell Davis, who started his season with a 101-yard game against Kansas City last week in Denver. Third down, call it 3. Elway, out of time, and he'll dive for the first down. A flag is down in the secondary of the Seahawks. Benny Blades covered Elway, who did pick up first down yardage on the scramble.
Well, I look at a holding penalty downfield. The officials are look on the top of your screen. And there it is, Willie Williams. No, it isn't. Sean Springs again. He's bumping again.
Well, what happened?
Illegal contact on the defense, number 24. That's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run and an automatic first down.
Did Sim say they only call it once a game?
Yeah, well, there's 2. Now we're in that blatant. And what happened at that time, Sean Springs looking at the quarterback, went for that first move by the wide receiver because Elway was looking at him, so he came up to break the play up, and really, it's a good job of having that penalty because otherwise it could have been a touchdown.
So the rookie, talented as he is, at the 3rd player picked, learning on the job. First down. Elway off play action. Flings it toward Shannon Sharp, incomplete.
Boy, I'll tell you what, did you see the blocking by Carswell, number 89? Now, he's blocking a defensive lineman, Michael Sinclair, number 70, and he's the one that gives Elway all the time, not only to get outside, but he just kept Sinclair totally off of Elway.
You know, you watched the blocking, Paul. I was just watching the people go down the field who were open for the touchdowns. Eddie McCaffrey did a double move. He was wide open. And look what the play-action fake did. And what Shannon Sharp turns up the field. Nobody is covering him, but John Elway not able to get the ball to him.
2nd and 10. Davis hit the backfield by Chad Brown. Brown, who admitted to us that there was a lot of confusion on his part. He said, hey, I played a 3-4 linebacker in high school and college, and then with the Steelers, all of a sudden I'm 4-3, and I made some mistakes last week.
Chad Brown, already today, one thing I can say about the Seahawk defense, a lot more energy from them already. Last week, they never showed this type of energy and aggression, and Chad Brown's going to be on the line of scrimmage a lot today, trying to get up close so he can make some plays. That's what he is. He's a playmaker.
Loss of a yard. Elway into the shotgun. Needs 11. Wide open, and Shannon Sharp makes a one-handed catch and a first down. Oh, my.
You know what makes this catch so great, Phil, is that he knew where he was after he caught the ball. He knew he needed another 2 yards for a first down. Watch this one-handed catch by Sharp. Bang. Now watch him look at the sideline. Here, he sees where he is. He sees the marker, and he's got to get to the... Oh, man, that is phenomenal.
Acrobatic.
And you know, Paul, I'm not taking nothing away from Shannon Sharp, but last week we were at the Denver practice. Do you remember touching his glove, putting one of them on? You went, well, heck, I could catch him with these gloves on.
They're very sticky.
But anyway, if he got in front of him, it would have been a touchdown again.
Now it's Terrell Davis breaking tackles inside the 15-yard line. And a gain of nearly 9 before Darrell Williams could come up from safety and make the stop.
Well, the Broncos, their favorite play is the inside trap play by the offensive lineman. Give it to Terrell Davis. He is a great north and south runner, doesn't waste any time, no more than one move, gets right up the field.
Terrell Davis last year averaged nearly 80 yards a game, or 95, then last year raised it to 96. Starts this season with 101 against Kansas City. And they're defensing the Broncos to stop Davis today. Seattle is. Elway. We're okay. Fires. Touchdown. Ed McCaffrey. Now McCaffrey, the veteran, is really taking the rookie Springs to school.
You know, I said that earlier. Size is such an overrated thing with this receiver defensive back combination. Well, you know, again, Paul, I was wrong. Because twice today already, we've just seen the difference in size. And Ed McCaffrey is a tall 6'5", and they list Sean Springs at 6 foot, but we know he's not. He's about 5'10 and a half or 5'11". But Eddie just used his size. Ed McCaffrey pushed him around the end zone and got the touchdown.
Elam for the extra point. And the 14-yard touchdown pass Elway to Ed McCaffrey, the Stanford connection, has boosted the Broncos to a 10-0 early lead. His first touchdown of this new season with a clever move. Ed, like so many, looking forward to 2 weeks hence the Ryder Cup. Will the U.S. bring back the cup from Valderrama, Spain against Seve Ballesteros' European side? 10-0 lead Denver. 4:21 left in this opening quarter. Steve Broussard at the 4. And doesn't make it back to the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. First McCaffrey and then Elway.
Well, we're going to watch Eddie McCaffrey score the touchdown, but I think the most important thing, 2nd and 1, Mike Shanahan calls a play-action pass, tries to score. That's what separates Mike Shanahan from most of the coaches in this league who would have tried to pick up the first down.
And if you want to question Elway's arm, please don't. Look at this pass. I mean, there is no chance for Springs. That ball was zipped.
Either you catch that ball or you knocks the wind out of you. Boy, that was right into the solar plexus. 71-yard drive and 9 plays for Elway and the Broncos. And now the pressure falls again on this Seattle offense that fell behind by a big score. Freaking Chris Warren comes out with an answer. A gain of nearly 10 before Neil Smith can drag him down.
Well, John Mobley told us yesterday, number 51 on the Bronco defense, on first down he may be blitzing. He is on the top side. Now watch what happens. He goes back to the outside. They get blocked, and the hole is created inside. Here comes John Mobley here. Now watch this. He just gets run down the line of scrimmage, and when you do that, the hole is open. He's got to get himself square.
Well, he's a fast guy. He's not a big guy. So when those big fat linemen get a hold of you, you're going to move. You're going down the line.
2nd down and less than a yard. Another big gainer. First down to the 38. Tyrone Braxton, the safety man, made the stop.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks, Dennis Erickson, a lot of the coaches and players, the strength of this team on offense is running the football. A big, big offensive line. 2 good solid runners. Chris Warren, he finds the holes because he's a big runner, able to go forward.
But why? Number 52, the center, look at it. He just goes right down the line, grabs a hold of Mobley, moves him out of the hole, and it's another first down.
Kevin Mawe from LSU, the center, another good block. Moon going long. Intended for Pritchard, and Steve Atwater was there to cover.
Well, Warren Moon told us yesterday the one thing, and you brought up, he says, you know, I never saw so many short passes in the game last week. And Moon said the one thing that we have to do is go downfield.
Well, you know, that's a great example of it too, Paul. If you run the football and you get some first downs, it didn't quite happen the way they want, but play action fake, give the quarterback that extra time and let the receiver get down the field. Alfred Williams on that play still leveled Warren Moon, so they got to do a better job up front. But that's how you should run an offense.
Got a last name Warren carrying the ball after a handoff from a first name Warren. And there's John Freeze. His season cut in half. They expect him to be out 8 weeks with that broken right thumb after the injury late in the first half against the Jets a week ago.
Well, John Freeze works all off season as hard as any quarterback can. He created a good situation for himself in here, Seattle. He beats out the #1 draft pick, the guy that's got the job, Rick Meyer, is given to him. Everything is going well, and what do you know? First half, the first game of the year, gone for 6 to 8 weeks.
3rd and 10 for Moon. Whistles that one incomplete, intended for Joey Galloway. Well, one thing about this 40-year-old gray-beard Moon, he can still fire it with anyone.
Well, you're right. He still has a tremendous arm, and that arm's never going to leave. It'll still be good when he's 50 years old. So the question is, how long do you want to take those hits? I mean, that's what it comes down to for quarterbacks.
Well, like in my case, my arm was still there. The body goes.
That's right.
When the body goes, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right. And don't try to follow that body. That's for sure.
But your face is still there, Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Tootin toward Gordon, and another beautiful kick. Gordon at the 9. Twisted down at the 14 and pushed back. Tim Hawk, the veteran and former Broncos special teamer, made the tackle. Tootin celebrating a 53-yard punt. He's had a couple in the 50s to start this game, but it's not just his foot. Look at the arms on this punter.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive.
Well, one of the reasons why I didn't lift that much, look at the veins in this. I didn't want those veins in my wrist. Yeah. That, to me, is ugly. What's ugly? Those veins in his wrist.
Elway with a bullet. And nearly a first down for Shannon Sharp.
Well, you know, the kickers, it's a whole new. I mean, you may have started all that. I mean, he did say you're his idol then, too.
Yeah, you know, he took a look at my body and sitting on a beer keg, and he said, you know, you look good, so I think I'll work out. He really wasn't like, when he was in Buffalo, he wasn't like that.
Yeah, he's not like most kickers. I went in there yesterday. There he was in the weight room doing his curls, working out. And, you know, I have to admit, the man is built pretty well for a kicker.
Come on, he's for an athlete.
Inside handoff. Terrell Davis, look at him make some moves out to the 35.
What did your old coach Bill Parcells say about kickers?
He said about kickers and punters, he says all they're good for, all they do is they're always the first ones to the hair dryers after the game is over. Oh.
Terrell Davis, did you say, you know, the moves that he makes, he says he loves to run inside the tackles. That's his favorite spot. Most runners will say, I like to get outside. Not this guy. He just explodes.
That was him right there, making the moves while going forward, always gaining ground. That's what their running game is about.
Just seconds left in the first quarter, and Davis with 34 yards and looking for more and gets more. Out to the 43-yard line, give him a +8 as the final seconds of this first quarter that has been fairly well dominated by Denver tick away. That perhaps the last play. Terrell Davis, what a force he has become for the Denver Broncos. And that will do it for the first quarter here at the Kingdome in Seattle. The Denver Broncos 10, the Seahawks nothing. Back to Seattle, the Broncos leading the Seahawks 10-0. And a reminder, the NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on the NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com, all the scores, stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action. And you'll chat with some of the NFL's biggest stars, all at NFL.com. Open the second quarter, and the handoff goes to Terrell Davis. And he's smothered as Sean Springs comes up from the corner to help out on the tackle.
Well, the one thing about Seattle last week is when you look at it, look at his tackles by position. Now, there were 62 tackles in the game, 32 of them by the 4 starting defensive backs. That's the 2 corners and the 2 safeties. Over half of the tackles.
You know what that tells me? That means the up front people had a terrible game. And today, look at that, 11 already by the secondary. The front 4, the linebackers, and this defense, you got a 4-3. They got to be making the tackles.
Third and a long one, and Davis doesn't get it. Stacked up by Chad Brown. You know, Denver's finally stopped by the Seahawk defense.
Well, they're trying to get Chad Brown in on a lot of plays. And Chad Brown told us he played on the 3-4 defense all of his life, never in the 4-3. And what happens here is look at Chad Brown. He comes down the line of scrimmage like an inside linebacker to make the play.
Did you see what Shannon Sharp did? He just tried to shield him off. But you got to realize this guy has got tremendous speed. He shielded him for a second, but he can still run down there and make the play before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Ronnie Harris back at the 10 as Tom Ruin punts for the first time today. And he hits a beautiful high spiral. Fair catch at the 12-yard line. Just underway in the second quarter here in Seattle, and the Broncos lead by 10. Look at Neil Smith of the Broncos. Jason Elam 38-yard field goal and a 14-yard touchdown pass Elway Ed McCaffrey giving the Broncos the early lead, 10-0. Warren Moon takes over at his own 12-yard line. Galloway in motion. Moon underneath to his tight end for Fourier, and he is to a first down, or close to it, at the 22. Warren Moon, his last stint as a quarterback here in Seattle. He was the University of Washington quarterback in 1978, and he led the Huskies into the Rose Bowl, where they won 27-20 over the University of Michigan. In the game, Moon ran for 2 scores. He passed for nearly 200 yards against the Wolverines, and another score, and was named the Rose Bowl MVP, and named to the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame this year, in fact. Nothing there at all for Chris Warren. Alan Aldridge, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. You know, he played 5 years after Washington at Edmonton in the CFL. If you take his numbers in the Canadian League and add them to his NFL numbers after 13 years, look, 398 touchdowns over 65,000 yards. I mean, he would be way off #1. And we asked him, does that ever enter his mind that had he not gone to the CFL or opened in the NFL, he'd have all the numbers? And he had an interesting answer. We'll give it to you after this play. Down the middle, caught by Galloway. And he's corralled, flagged down, tackled at the 45 by Ray Crockett.
Well, this is going to be a penalty on the receivers downfield, and they're going to bring part of this back.
33-yard play if...
So they tackled Romanowski, number 53, downfield, and it might be Max Strong, number 38, who is the fullback that was downfield, trying to block. They're just down there trying to help. Also, Deems May was in that.
Illegal block in the back, above the waist on the offense, number 38. That's a 10-yard penalty. However, the result is a first down.
Penalty comes back to the 40. It was marked at the 50.
Well, here's Joey Galloway in the slot. He's going to run across here. But what's the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks go up the field? I think Warren Moon was throwing it up the field to the tight end.
Galloway took it right away. Warren gains 4 on first down into the arms of Tyrone Braxton. Well, Warren Moon said that he's never been concerned about the 5 years in the CFL. He said he really thought he'd play his entire life there. He enjoyed it in Edmonton, and it only made him a better quarterback when he came to the NFL. He said, I just wanted to prove to myself I could play in this league as well. Well, he's done that.
Well, he's done that. He's done a lot of wonderful things, Dick, and you know, he was up in Canada. The good thing is he got a lot of snaps, a lot of experience. Even though the rules are a little bit different, you're still getting that pressure and seeing defenses, and it was a great teacher for him.
Chris Warren only a yard. Alan Aldridge and Mike Lodish collaborate on the stop. It'll be 3rd and 5.
You know, one thing watching Seattle now, the 2 good runs that Chris Warren had, a 9-yard run and I think an 11-yard run, that was between the guards, Phil. It was straight up the field. You try to run anywhere outside the tackles on the Denver Broncos, you got some problems because of their speed.
Well, their speed in Denver, Paul, always puts up there more people than you can block. So when you go outside, it just gives them more freedom to run, and that's why they always run it down outside.
Fourier in motion, and Moon has to duck away from the rush, and it's the first sack of the game. They may give it to Neil Smith, but he had a lot of help. Michael Dean Perry and Alfred Williams were in there as well.
Tanavasa, number 98, as I think maybe there. And here comes Neil Smith that makes a tackle. Tanavasa was the guy that made him a duck underneath, and Neil Smith gets the sack.
So Tootin has to punt again. 2 solid kicks early, but the bad news is that he's back in punt formation once again for Seattle. Another drive stymied. Darian Gordon, wow, what a spiral. And that one is going to go through the end zone. And with it, a timeout with 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Denver leads by 10.
Moon might have ducked a little bit too soon. Mawai, number 52, the center, on Tanavasa, number 98, he gets the block. You see Warren Moon's ducking before the guy's even there, and then he can't get back upfield.
But when you're a passer in that pocket, and you see your offensive lineman somewhere in the vicinity, you just got to trust them. They're going to get their hands on them and push them by you.
Trust them, huh?
10:07 left in the first half. Elway from his own 30. Underneath to McCaffrey for a gain of 4, maybe 5. Brown makes the tackle. Well, part of the hazards of playing the position of quarterback against men 300 pounds that can run 4.7 is you get your beating that comes with a high-priced territory. And here are the all-time men. Dave Craig has been sacked more than any, and actually Phil Simms is proud of being number 3, Paul.
I mean, he loves it. He talks about it all the time about the guys knocking him out.
He misses it on weekend. You just hit me once. Come on, make me feel at home.
Well, it's the only way I could get in the record book, so I took advantage of it.
Elway forced to throw one away, and he's arguing for a call.
There is a flag down, and saying that he threw the intentional grounding.
Well, fans like that, as Elway is ticketed for throwing that one away when he was still in the pocket.
But as long as you throw the ball, there was a receiver out there. Terrell Davis.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 7. 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 3rd down.
Well, John Elway is inside the tackles, and he throws it out here where there is no receiver in the vicinity, and that's what the referee calls. It's a good call. Elway really had time where he could have thrown it somewhere closer. But Chad Brown on 94 on the outside coming. Beats the guard, pulling out the blocking.
The toughest of penalties, the 10 yards plus loss of down, brings up 3rd and 16, and Elway is forced to call timeout. Well, that has awakened the crowd at the Kingdom. We'll be right back. In Titletown, Green Bay next Sunday to see the Dolphins and Packers here. The crowd trying to help the Seattle defense. 3rd down, 16, Denver at the 14-yard line. Elway going long for McCaffrey. Flag again, and it's thrown at Sean Springs.
You know, Phil, you are so right about McCaffrey. It shows Sean Springs about McCaffrey. He gives just 27 moves, and then he's doing something else. Look at this guy. Eddie said, you know, we told him yesterday, Sean said he could backpedal faster than you could run forward.
Defense.
He said,
number 24.
And
That's an automatic first down.
He said to us, he says, look, I've heard all the slow jokes. Well, you know, when you look at the replay, I mean, there is a legal bump.
And Mike Shanahan sees the penalty, first down out to the 43-yard line. Elway given a lot of time to throw. It's a 3rd call against Springs. Now Davis. Terrell Davis to midfield. Gain of 7 more before Dean Wells, the middle backer from Kentucky, can make the stop.
Well, I think the coaches are going to have to reevaluate this rule now, because none of these were called last week. We did the game Kansas City-Denver. Every film I watched of a couple different games this week leading up to this, they never throw the penalty flags down, these incidental bumps or whatever down the field. So maybe they've talked about the officials. They got a little too far out of hand. And Dick, like you said, 3 of them already today on Sean Springs.
McCaffrey left. Davis, the lone running back. Griffith sent out to the right side with Shannon Sharp. Looking for Davis. Throws the sidelines to Griffith. Out of bounds. No catch. Covered by Springs.
You know, there's a pass play, Phil, that you talk about so many times where you throw the ball behind the receiver and behind the defensive back.
Watch Sean Springs, number 24, Howard Griffin. He never turns his head. The only thing, just a little too far behind Paul. A running back can't quite make the adjustment a wide receiver would, but if the defender doesn't turn around, throw it to the back of his head, let the receiver make the adjustment.
Boy, Springs was really careful there. I didn't want to lay a hand on Max. It was Griffith who had a little push.
Get a little gun shy out there.
3rd and a long 3. And Michael Sinclair charges into the Denver backfield.
Yeah, but they're going to get Habib, I think, 75, the right guard, moved.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. Number 75, 5 yards, still third down.
I'll take.
Well, let's look at Sean Springs and how tough this first half has been on the rookie from Ohio State. That was the penalty against McCaffrey. Then McCaffrey took him to school on the touchdown. And now another, and this on a critical 3rd and 16. Interference. Elway scrambles. Whoa! That could have been called a fumble. They say an incomplete pass. It looked as if Elway was throwing that ball backwards.
It went sideways. He was trying to get rid of the football, avoid the sack. Good pressure up the field again by the Seattle defensive lineman.
I'll tell you what's real nice is the official made a nice catch here. Not a catch, but grabs the ball.
He's beyond the line of scrimmage. He's at the 45-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 44. He threw the ball from the 45. In essence, that's a fumble and a live ball. It ruled a backward pass, or at least it's a penalty from beyond the line of scrimmage. Fair catch called. Monty Harris. Let's go back, and this had all kinds of problems or question marks written about it.
44-yard line is where the line of scrimmage is. Elway sees the hole, so he moves up in it, and he's definitely, you're right, Dick, definitely past the line of scrimmage. Should be an illegal forward pass.
Yeah, the ball did go forward. It was not a lateral, but very close to being a free ball.
But you're right, Paul. That was a good scoop by the...
That was Ron Botchin, an old teammate of mine with the Chargers years ago, the umpire. He made a great catch. Not a catch, but scooped the ball up.
Down 10-0. Seattle needs something good to happen offensively. Midpoint of the second quarter. Moon goes for his tight end. Carlester Crumpler.
How do you like this? Well, is this a great name in sport? Carlester Crumpler.
Well, his dad was Carlester, too, you know, and he played Buffalo one year.
Yep.
74.
That was the year I was on vacation, I think.
Carlester is from East Carolina. They got two tight end names, Deems May and Carlester Crumpler. Carlester and Deems got to find a lot of teams to get two of those names on. This is Lamar Smith, and a flag down to Smith. Rumbles out to the 42 before Darian Gordon can make the tackle.
And Ray Crockett is down on the ground. He's hurt. And they cannot afford to lose another corner. Oh boy, on that last play, they just caved Alfred Williams down inside and just ran right off his rear end.
Holding, offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Joey Galloway with a penalty.
He's too small to be holding.
That'll take the ball back to the 28-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 3. Crockett to his feet. He was shaken last week as well in the Kansas City game.
Look at your screen, you go see Joey Galloway, number 84, goes in, and what they're calling, he puts his arms around the leg of Ray Crockett and helps him pull him down.
Boy, I mean, that was so close to a crack back because he hit him almost below the knees. He hit him above, but
he did, but he fell down. That's right. The initial hit was above the waist.
Pretty generous on the spot in terms of where the penalty occurred. Seattle still got a 7-yard gain out of the play. Moon is hit before he can hand off to Galloway, and then Galloway deep in his own backfield. And finally down at the 16-yard line. 17, Tyrone Braxton in to make the tackle.
You know, so you're talking about how fast Galloway is. You know what, I'll tell you what, I don't care how fast you are. When you run out of football field, you can't go anywhere.
There's the problem inside. Keith Traylor with great penetration. And the one thing, what this says about the Denver Broncos is just good discipline. Nobody getting out of their lanes in the backside. Nobody over pursuing. So the reverse comes back around to them. There they are.
Sitting out there was Tyrone Braxton, 34. He just waits out there. No place for you to go but back inside to where all of his teammates are.
A loss of 11 on the play. 3rd down and 14. vertical throw as Moon threaded that through several Bronco arms, and it's a first down near the 40.
Excellent read by Warren Moon. Good patience. That's the key this time. Watch how Joey Galloway at the bottom of your screen comes up, but watch this receiver kind of clear out and make the hole for Warren Moon to throw the football into. Joey Galloway on the outside. Second man across. Good patience by Warren Moon waiting for the gainer, the big gainer.
22-yard play. 5 minutes, 5 seconds left in the half. Denver leads 10-0. Swing it out to Lamar Smith. And Smith out of bounds at the 45. Steve Atwater made the tackle. A reminder this fall on NBC, Jenny McCarthy's moving into the Sunday neighborhood right after Men Behaving Badly with her new comedy Jenny. What a matchup. Men and Jen, Sundays this fall on NBC.
She's moving into whose neighborhood?
Men's. Jen and Men. Men Behaving Badly. You ought to get a bit part. I would think they'd want you in
He's over here mumbling. You better wake up. He's over here mumbling.
He thought I was talking personally about it.
Second and 5. Smith breaks the initial hit, gets it close to a first down. Mobley drags him down just shy of the 49, where it'll be 3rd and 1.
John Mobley was telling us they put in a lot of extra blitzes, and especially for him, and on first down. Now, this was a second down play. Here's Mobley, very quick, and just gets upfield.
Well, that time he went around the block. And Mobley, this year, he's not running around lost like he was last year. He's got over those rookie blues, and he knows what he's doing. He's making more plays in the first 2 games this year.
The first down at the 48 of Denver.
Well, you got that right. Smith did this all by himself. Lamar Smith did it because there was no blocking. He's the guy that gets outside, sees there's no place to go, and he cuts it back inside. He's going to come back into your face here. Just watch what he does. He sees nothing to the inside. I go back outside, and now I've got to go forward to make the first down.
Yeah, Bill Romanowski has a chance to stop him for no gain and send this into 4th down, but you know what? Sometimes coaches always say it, and I say it, Paul. Sometimes players just got to make plays. It can't always be there for you. You got to make somebody miss, make it happen.
First down with 3:12 left in the half. Swing it out to Smith, wide open. Patient run and another first down, or close to it at the 37.
Watch John Mobley, number 51, dropping back at zone coverage. There's the swing. He's going to try to go up, blow this thing up.
Well, that's his man. Now, Smith comes out of the backfield. That's his man, but he was so concerned about Galloway going downfield to take a piece of him, he forgot about the back coming out of the backfield.
Another first down for Moon and the Seahawks. Smith again. 30. 20. He's all the way to the 11-yard line.
What great positive reinforcement for the Seahawks. Really, nothing's gone right. They've stuck to their game plan, sticking with the run. Lamar Smith, big hole, does a good job. Make a couple guys miss, get this ball down into scoring territory.
And that takes us to a 2-minute warning. A 25-yard run by Smith, the backup to Chris Warren, 218-pounder in his 4th year out of University of Houston. He has been the drive. 40 yards on 4 rushes plus 2 catches for 17 more. And Warren Moon and the Seahawks, with their best field position, have driven to the 12 of Denver, trying to cut into the Broncos' 10-0 lead. 2 minutes to go in the half. With Smith in motion. Moon incomplete to Carlester Crumpler.
You know, Carlester Crumpler is very big, but he's not that big. You're going to throw into Mobley and Aldridge, 57 and 51. You have 2 linebackers, 1 on each side. That's forcing the passing. Here goes Mobley coming out. Aldridge has got number 57, is going to give him some help. But watch these 2 guys just clamp on Carlester Crumpler. Aldridge is the first guy that makes the play, and then inside is Mobley.
Dennis Erickson, in his third year here at Seattle, didn't like the call. He felt that his team's been flagged for early contact, and Smith is contacted early, in fact, on the run as he goes down after a gain maybe of a half yard. Alan Aldridge led the charge. Reminder to stay tuned. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you to our New York studios for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime
report. And there was an interesting wire service report, a modern day history note. Something that's the first time
you've ever seen it. Yeah, first time I've ever seen it.
Sartorial history.
You wear checkered sport coats with striped ties or something like that.
Yeah, that's the first time since Soupy Sales, Chris Collins.
Soupy Sales?
Move to the end zone. Crumpler, who played at East Carolina, with first catch of the year is his first touchdown. Todd Peterson's extra point try, and Denver's lead reduced to 10-7. 12 yards, perfect throw, and a fine catch by Crumpler. By the running of Lamar Smith, the capper, a 12-yard throw. Moon to Carlester Crumpler, completing a 79-yard drive.
Watch Warren Moon, looks to the right. He knows where all his receivers are. Good veteran quarterback. When he gets in trouble, he knows look left deep. Carlester in the end zone for the touchdown.
It had to be perfectly thrown over two Bronco defenders. Pepperin at the goal line. Boyd found a gap again and out to the 34-yard line. The kick returns of Denver continued to be outstanding. That one good for 33 yards.
Well, Moon, I think, makes this play by pulling the ball down one time on a pump and enables Carlester Crumpler to get behind Gordon, the defensive back, and Aldridge, the linebacker, and just a perfect throw.
Let me tell you what, that's a zone coverage there. Denver, when they watch this film, they're going to go, how could that happen when you got zone? You let somebody get behind you in the end zone like that.
Dennis Erickson trying to keep the fire in this Seahawks team. They were really deflated after last week's crushing loss to the Jets here at the Kingdom. Elway chased by Sinclair. Fumble picked up by Chad Brown. Touchdown, Seattle. That one was scored quicker than a Ken Griffey home run. That was out of here in a hurry. And in seconds, Seattle has claimed the lead.
I think Denver would even try to run a play to get yards, except after the return, got them up past the 30. They decide, what the heck, let's try. Look what happens.
Todd Peterson adds the extra point, and newly acquired Chad Brown, thanks to the forced fumble by Michael Sinclair, has the score.
It's on the backside Elway, and he doesn't see it. John's running to the outside. Sinclair knocks the ball out. Look at the ball. Bounces right up in Chad Brown's hand. Touchdown.
Keeps working, chases the quarterback. Good things happen in this league when you hustle. Ball bounces up to him.
Well, Chad Brown acquired a $24 million free agent. Dennis Erickson wants a big play defender, and there's the first dividend.
The coach is fired up. Yesterday when we talked to him, he wasn't too fired up about talking to us, that's for sure. I appreciate him coming in, but
he wasn't real excited, was he? The onside kick to one of the up men. And the tight end, Byron Chamberlain, out to the 37-yard line. Well, Michael Sinclair, who forced the fumble, he's had big days against Elway. In fact, last year, watch number 70. He tied a Seattle team record. He sacked Elway 4 times in the game here. It was the most sacks by an opponent in Broncos history.
That one looked a little familiar, didn't it? Elway not fumbling, but coming close to it.
So, in a matter of a couple of seconds, Seattle 2 touchdowns to take the lead. Elway throws to McCaffrey, and he's to the 46-yard line. 45-44, and time called by Denver with 43 seconds and a first down.
Well, that's interesting, too. You talked about Shanahan's play calling.
Phil Simms, after a disaster fumble touchdown, when you perhaps we're going to run out the clock, you don't run it out here, you come out trying to get more.
Well, he wants to turn this momentum back around, so they get it in pretty good field position. So Mike Shanahan, he's not gun shy.
No,
so let's go. He'd love to get a field goal right here to settle it back down, to give his team confidence, and, take a little bit away from Seattle, too.
Well, Von Hebron has been carrying the ball back and giving great returns, we were talking about, Dick. So what the Seattle Seahawks did after they scored a touchdown, they split the ball along the ground. The problem was it was kicked to one of the up guys, which happened to be a tight end. He picked up the ball and got the ball out to about the 35-yard line. And when you do that, you already give him field position to get going again.
That squib kick, that along with that prevent defense everybody talks about, they both need to be blown up. Because they're just, I hate them both.
Blown up is blown up and thrown out.
Yeah.
They mark it first down at the 46-yard line. Look at Elway. He is really pumped now. He wants to make amends for the fumble touchdown.
Well, here's your prevent, Phil.
Elway to McCaffrey, thrown behind him as Benny Blades came over to help out Sean Springs from his safety spot.
Well, Paul, Denver guessed wrong. It was what you would call prevent a soft zone, but they were expecting aggressive man coverage by the Seahawks defense, so they ran a route accordingly. It wasn't open.
Denver has 2 timeouts remaining, 29 seconds shown. Knocked down at the 48-yard line by Sam Adams. These Seattle front 4 linemen are big, but they're fast as well. Adams almost 300 pounds. Elway couldn't get rid of him. When Moon led his team, sparked by Lamar Smith, to a touchdown. And you see Elway with that last 2-yard scramble has moved past Tobin Rote, former Packer, former Lion quarterback, number 4 all time as the rushing quarterback. Randall Cunningham, by far the most successful runner at that quarterback spot. Not necessarily a great statistic for a team. Elway to the sidelines. McCaffrey given plenty of room by Sean Springs. Ducks out of bounds. 11 seconds left and no timeout used by Denver. So they got their 2 timeouts. They have one more play trying to get into field goal range.
Well, Denver made the adjustment, Paul. I told you, I just knew they'd come out with a different play. Seattle playing it safe, staying off, knowing they got to make 2 good solid plays to get in field goal range.
But you can't give a guy like Jason Elam, the kicker of Denver. We know he can kick the ball 60 yards.
Excuse me, one timeout left for Denver. Elway to the far sidelines, complete to Willie Green, and the former Mississippi star, acquired as an unrestricted free agent from Carolina. This moves it closer.
Yeah, this is like give up for Seattle, because playing indoors, we saw it last week, a 55-yard field goal kicked against Seattle. This is like the equivalent of about a 35 or a 40-yard field goal by the Denver Broncos playing in this dome.
This is a 51-yard try, but with no wind, that for Elam would be like a 40-45. Ruined to hold. It's long enough. It is good. So Elway does steal some of the momentum and thunder from the Seahawks as he gets 3 back, and the Broncos are within 1. And Dennis Erickson not at all happy about the defense employed by the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was talking to Greg McMacken, the defensive coordinator. He didn't like the strategy he used at the end, and And for Elam, this is just a little punch shot, Paul.
Yeah. You know, Erickson's trying to call timeout. They want to get somebody else on the field. They couldn't get it done.
Or to freeze the kicker.
Yeah, but you know, the thing about it is that you mentioned the prevent defense. I just hate the defense because it allows the team to score. You don't prevent them from doing anything.
Seattle was making it happen with the crowd and their aggression. And once they did that, once you let them throw those little safe passes to the outside, it takes the aggression out of the defensive linemen. It takes it out of the defensive backs, and the crowd sitting back here, hey, they know they're going, what the heck are we doing?
Well, and the other thing too is, Phil, you got a field goal kicker that has not missed a kick this year. I mean, it's only 2 games, but he's 6 for 6 now, and you don't give him a chip shot.
He saw Elam's numbers. What a start to a season. In 6 quarters, he has 6 field goals in 6 attempts. Had a 53-yarder last week and 51 now today. This certainly shouldn't challenge a deep return. We'll see how he squibs it. Yep. And downed by Max Strong, and that'll be the end of the first half. Mike Shanahan's team jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but Seattle struck quickly. Touchdown on a pass, touchdown on a fumble return by Chad Brown. They got Dennis Erickson and the Seahawks thinking they can win today, as we go now to New York and Greg Gumbel.
This is the Domino's Pizza.
First half statistics. Coors Light.